Today we are looking at age problems, and this is 4.5 in the modules. So the first example here, a father is now only 3 times as old as his son, but 8 years ago the father was 5 times as old as his son. Find their present ages. So usually what we do with problems like this is we set up a chart. So we have father and we have the son. And we also have their ages now and what it was in the past. So just a simple chart like this. So what we know is that a father is now only 3 times as old as his son. So we'll say that the son is X and the father is 3 times as old as his son, so the father is 3X. All right, but we know 8 years ago, so in the past, 8 years ago, the father was 5 times as old as his son. All right, so we're going to put here 3x minus 8 because it's 8 years ago, and then x minus 8 here as well to represent that it was also 8 years ago. And what we know is that the father was 5 times as old as his son 8 years ago. So when we set up our equation, it's going to be 3x minus 8. And it's equal to 5 times x minus 8. All right, so there we have represented that the father was 5 times as old as his son 8 years ago. And now we just have to work out this problem and solve for x. So we'll start by multiplying out the bracket here. So 3x minus 8 equals 5x minus 40. And now we can start rearranging and solving for x. So I'm just going to bring x to the left-hand side. So I'll subtract 5x to both sides. And that gives me negative 2x minus 8 equals negative 40. Then I'll do the opposite of subtracting 8, which is adding 8 to both sides. And that gives me negative 2x equals negative 32. And then lastly, we just have to divide by negative 2. And that will give us x is equal to 16. All right, so we've solved for x. But make sure we go back to figure out their present ages, so their ages now. So the son is x, so 16 years old, and the father is 3 times x, so 3 times 16, which is 48. So we would just have to write down that last sentence. So the son is 16, and the father is 16 times 3, which is 48. All right, so our second example, John is twice as old as Bill. In 5 years, the sum of their ages will be 34. Find their present ages. So we just have to set up this as a chart again. So we have John and we have Bill. And then we have now and then in the future. And what do we know here is that John is twice as old as Bill. So we'll call Bill X. And then we know John is twice as old, so 2x for John. And then in 5 years, the sum of their ages will be 34. So all we have to do to show the future is 2x plus 5, and then x plus 5. That shows their ages in the future. And we know that The sum of their ages will be 34. So we just have to add the 2 and make it equal to 34. So 2x plus 5 plus x plus 5 is equal to 34. All right, so 2x plus 5 here, plus x plus 5, I've made it equal to 34. Okay, collect like terms. So we have 2x and x. We can collect that together. That gives us 3x. 5 plus 5, that's 10, is equal to 34. And now we can go ahead and solve for x. So subtract by 10. That gives me 3x equals 24. And then divide by 3 on both sides. And that gives me x is equal to 8. All right, so x is equal to 8. That means Bill is 8 and John is 2 times x, so 2 times 8, which is 16. And I just have to write my statement here. So Bill is 8 and John is 16. All right, so we have here a mother is 3 years less than 5 times as old as her daughter. So we have a mother and daughter. And what do we know here? We're going to call the daughter X because the mother is 3 years less than 5 times as old as her daughter. So that means 5 times, which is 5x, and then she's 3 years less, so minus 3. And that's all. And all we know next is the sum of their ages is 39. So all we have to do is take 5x minus 3 plus x, that will be the sum of their ages, and it's equal to 39. So I'm just going to set up that. So 5x minus 3 plus x is equal to 39. Yep, and then we can collect our like terms and solve for x. So we have 5x plus 1x there. That gives me 6x. Minus 3 is equal to 39. Next, we just have to take the opposite of subtracting 3, which is adding 3, like this, and that gives me 6x is equal to 42. And then we'll just divide by 6 on both sides. And that gives me x is equal to 7. So therefore, the daughter is 7 because x is equal to 7. The mother is going to be 5 times 7 minus 3. And so 5 times 7, that's 35. Subtract 3, that gives me 32. So therefore, the daughter is 7. And the mother is 32. All right, so our next example here is Madge is 6 years older than Bruce. In 5 years, the sum of their ages will be 36. How old is Bruce? So set up a chart. We have Madge and Bruce. And right now, Madge is 6 years older than Bruce. So Bruce is X. And then Madge is 6 years older than Bruce. So X plus 6. And then in 5 years, so we could say this is now, and then this is the future. So in 5 years, the sum of their ages will be 36. So you have to take the x plus 6, and then add on the 5 years. And same thing with the Bruce, we'll add on 5 years. Now we can take the two expressions. It says the sum of their ages will be 36. So now we will add that together. So x plus 5 plus x plus 5 is equal to 36. And then collect your like terms. So 2x, and then 5 plus 5 plus 6, that's 16, equals 36. And subtract the 16. So we get 2x equals 20, and then divide by 2 on both sides. That gives me x is equal to 10. And the question is just how old is Bruce? So Bruce is x, which is 10. So therefore, Bruce is 10.